In this video, we are looking at how to translate verbal phrases into algebraic expressions. Algebra is most commonly used to simplify worded scenarios or complex problems into simple mathematical expressions. To be able to do this, it's important to know all the different words that represent each of the four main operations. So let's look at just a few examples of each of them. So for addition, we could use the word sum, add, addition, altogether, total, increase, more than. All of these are different words to represent addition. For subtraction, we can use difference, subtract, less than, take away, reduce. All of these are different words to use to represent subtraction. Now, multiplication is very similar to addition because we're increasing by performing this operation, so some of the words overlap. But for multiplication, we can use multiply, product, total, altogether, increase, and so on. And lastly, for division, we can use divide, share, each, quotient, and any more that you can think of. So these are just a few examples of each of the words that we use to represent the four operations. We use these to then be able to translate complex worded problems into simple algebraic expressions. So we're going to go through a few of the examples now. So right here it says, translate these phrases into symbols. Use n, so we're going to use a pronumeral n, to represent the certain number that appears in each of these examples. So with A, it says a certain number plus 4. So we're going to use n as our certain number plus 4. So plus is going to be used to represent addition. B says 3 times a certain number. So we know times is for multiplication, so we're going to do 3 times n. And if you remember with our algebraic rules, we don't write the multiplication sign, so it's just going to be 3n. C says 2 less than a certain number. So if you remember, less than goes here in our subtraction. So we're actually going to do 2 less than a certain number. So we're actually going to write as n minus 2. And D, the sum of twice a certain number and 11. Now there's two different words here. We've got sum, which we know is in our addition, and twice, which is actually in our multiplication. So what this means is first we're going to do twice the number and the sum of a certain number and 11. So that's 2n plus 11. So whenever you're going through and translating these verbal phrases, it's important to have this table in front of you with all the different words that represent the four operations, because that will help you be able to simplify all the verbal phrases into algebraic expressions.